Welcome back to Freedom Algo. Hope everybody had an amazing holiday weekend and hope you're having a good start to your week. Good to have everybody here. So I'm going to give it a second for everybody to get connected and log in and everything. Just give me a minute. I got to look at something here. What the? Is my mic volume too low or does it sound okay? It looks like it's coming in low. Here, give me a second. I'll be right back. Hey, sorry about that. I had a weird thing going on with my mic, so I just wanted to resolve it. It looks like it's working fine now. Check. Yeah, I think it's fine. Okay. If it sounds too quiet, just let me know. And I'll take a look. I might have to minimize my screen for just a second so I can look at the settings because something strange going on with the mic. I don't know why it's... Okay, let's see. I'm gonna just try to adjust it real quick. All right, let me know. I think I just fixed it. I think it was set somehow to it was like somehow set too low or something. I think I fixed it though. Okay, does that sound okay? I think I fixed it. Thanks for that. Sorry for the tech issues, you know how it goes sometimes. Sometimes I go to stream and then all of a sudden I'm noticing that there's something weird going on with the mic. So I just have to double check that. All right, I'm going to zoom out real quick. It's going to be a relatively uneventful stream today because there's not a lot that really went on. There's really not a lot of bars in general. I think if you measure this, 298. It's actually not that bad, but not a ton of bars. It's printing pretty slow right now. There's some volatility here, but not anything too impressive. Just kind of a slower market, and that's just what it is right now. All right, so let's see. I'll give it a second for everyone to hop in, and then I'll start going over the trade. So I'm just going to give it another second or two, another minute, and then I'll go over all the trades. So just give me 1 second to let everybody hop in, and then we'll go from there. I'm making sure the audio is okay too on the other side on my phone, so just give me a second. Man, the delay is crazy. I'm watching it right now on my phone. It's so delayed. Wow. It's really like lame that that's how it is. But nothing I can do about it. It's like 20 plus 20 seconds-ish. I was just checking. All right, anyway, let's get into the day. So overnight, massive sell-off when we opened last night, pushed down all the way down to here. And we kind of turned into this like slight sort of rangy price action. Nothing really that impressive there. And then you end up with there's like a, there's some second entry short there. You're not really looking to take one there anyway. Fails, moves up. There's really nothing in here that I see that's that impressive in the overnight. There's a down channel here that's kind of flat. We never quite make a new low. Now, some point today when I came in, it was in somewhere in this area. I forget exactly where. I think it was like I want to say it was somewhere in this right here when I came in. And there's nothing really that I'm looking to take there. I'm just waiting for us to come to the lows of the range or the highs. And it just didn't really happen. We just kind of were grinding sideways. And then eventually we get this move down. There's kind of a move down first entry. There's kind of a second entry here, but you're not really looking to take one there. You're in the middle of no man's land. It moves higher. You kind of get this. There's nothing really here. This is congested. There's an inside bar, unfortunately. Nothing really that good. Then we kind of grind up to the highs, reverse. Now, eventually, we turn into this like slight down channel, and there is a second entry short right here. It's a first entry, second entry short. The problem with it, though, is, and it is off the EMA, the problem, though, is that it was looking like a range here, and it was highly possible that this was just the lows of the range right there. And if that's the case, then you would be shorting straight into the low. So I just didn't like it. I think ultimately this was the low of the range, and this was sort of a failed breakout, but then it continued, and this is sort of like a breakout pullback. But it's just not very good. Then we make a second entry short here with a lower high, decent one. But the problem is you don't have that much room to the lows, and you're not really off of any key area. You're not off the trend line or this EMA. You're kind of shorting into the lows. So it's okay, but nothing that I really liked there either. And then you just keep going down, and there's just not anything that good here. You get a overshoot here that then overshoots out the other side. It's just another one where you're kind of like, well, not much I can do with that. You know, it just kind of pushes through and then goes down here. And so you can look at this as a second entry short, close outside new high, but it's an overshoot here, so it's always going to be risky taking that. You do have some room to the EMA, but I don't think it's that great, but it's there. I didn't take any of those, but they're okay setups. Then you get the close outside. You do get another high here. Then you run up to the top of the range. You get this one. Then you get a lower high here. And then an equal high, big bearish bar. You could go and take this as a triple test. The only problem is it's so congested and sideways here. And you're not really getting below these levels right there. So you're kind of shorting right into that as a possible area. So I didn't love it either. And so I skipped it. Then we came down. I don't think you want to pick any bottoms here. There's a triple test and second entry short here, but you're kind of in no man's land. So again, it's risky. It would have worked, I think, for a scalp, but it's risky. And I didn't like anything there either. So I took 0 trades today. Unfortunately, all the setups I saw are yellow arrow. They're just not very good. They're okay, but I didn't want to start off my Monday with a questionable trade. I was waiting for something better, and it just didn't really come. So that's just how it is today. And it makes sense. It's post-holiday. You're going to get days like this sometimes. But I erred on the side of caution, and I wanted to wait for something better, and we just didn't get it. So you kind of just have to, so I just followed my rules and sat out, and that's how the day looks. Unfortunately, there isn't much else to report on this. It's kind of just a slow day, slow start to the week, but it's going to happen, and that's okay. Perfectly fine. You just kind of go with that. All right. So if you got questions, put them in the chat. And let me know what you think. All right. All right, let me see. I got a message in here from the group, so let me just see. See if KP is going to hop into the chat because he was messaging in the group. So I just want to see. Told him I'm live here. So if anybody wants to know what I'm talking about, I have a school community. It's right here. It's the link is in the description. It's also in the live chat. And it has a 7-day free trial. After that, it's just $99 a month or $9.99 a year, up to you. But it's a 7-day free trial, so you can see everything I do, learn everything that I do. This was from earlier. This was our daily thread. You can see there's a bunch of posts in there. And that's where we were going over all the price action of the day as we watched the market live. And then we went from there. So if you have questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat. And we will go from there. I'm just going to look here. I'm going to wait a second for questions to come through. Okay, cool. So, Tony, let me take a look at that one. 8:17 a.m. Pacific was this one. All right, so I went back and forth on whether or not to mark this. I wouldn't call it a triple test because if you look at these lows, this closes down here and you don't really have exactly a triple test there. What you could argue for there is if you had your level drawn maybe like this, you could see it maybe as a failed breakout, like a failed breakout out of the lows, but you're picking a bottom because it made the lowest low in the swing and it's not really a consistent range there. So I don't think it's a very good idea to take that trade. It is kind of a trap, like it's probably going to trap some shorts, but I just don't think it's a very great setup. So I didn't want to mark it if I wasn't really even willing to even take it as a yellow. So I don't think it's a very great idea to pick that bottom. It's kind of no man's land, just kind of like this one. This one's a little better because it does close back inside and it does look like a possible range. You do have a close outside. A new high of the up channel. This one, it's kind of making lower highs, lower lows. So what you don't know in that situation is if you're going to form some sort of a channel that looks like this. You just don't know if you're going to form, like you might form a down channel there. So I just think it's too risky. That's at least how I saw it. So now we're breaking out of the highs. I'm going to draw this trend line here and see what happens. Sorry to hear that, KP. Sorry to hear that. Listen, KP, here's the thing, like, there wasn't really that many setups, you know? There wasn't really that many setups today. So if you look at my chart, if you want to talk about any of the spots where you actually took a setup, let me know and we can actually go over those. So if you have any timestamps that you want me to look at and tell me if you went long or short, I'm happy to look at it for you and evaluate what I saw based on what you did. So KP, if you want to do that, feel free to share some timestamps of spots where you took a long or short, and if you want to even share like what your thought process was at that point, feel free to, and I'll go over it. So I'll wait for you to take a look. All right, Thumper, nice. That's a huge day for you. So congratulations. All right. I don't know if I've seen you in my chat before, but congrats to you. Glad you had a great day. Hope everybody had an amazing few days off. So we're breaking out of the highs here. We still have this gap up here. We have this brown level. This is where we closed on whatever that day was last week. It's kind of a weird week because if you go and look, like this is Thanksgiving right here. You can see there's almost no price action because it's only open for a little while. And then this was the day after, which the market was kind of open on that day, but I didn't trade either one of those. I didn't even look at them. But it did close all the way up there. So we might come up and fill that gap. That's really like the main target right now. You can see a first entry long forming here. We could get a second entry long to confirm this up channel keeps going. So that could be a possible setup. But if this makes a new high, then we have to just reset the count. Please give the stream a like and definitely subscribe if you haven't already. Yeah. Well, shout out to you. Great work. That's a pretty wild day. So, hey, were you just trading the ES futures? Let me know in the chat. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think KP, the main thing there is See, here's the thing I think, and this I think is important for everybody to hear and think about. If you're trading, whatever you're trading, if you're trading prop firms, if you're trading evals, if you're trading your demo, if you're trading any of that stuff, here's the main thing. All right, so here's the main thing. You need to make sure that, in my opinion, you're trading based on how you actually trade. Because you're reinforcing habits. Even when you're just trading on a demo or an evaluation account, I don't believe it's a smart idea to just try to just pass the thing by doing something super sketch, right? I saw a video a while back of this guy, and what he said, or I didn't see the video. Someone told me in my chat about a video they saw. So I didn't actually see the video, so sorry, I misspoke. But someone was in my live chat one day, and they were like, hey, I saw this video of this guy, and this is what he does. Now, I honestly couldn't believe it. I don't even want to look it up, but the guy was saying that what they do is they buy 2 evaluation accounts and they set a no stop loss long order and a no stop loss short order going into news releases, and then one of the accounts fails and one of them passes. That just seems ridiculous, and that's not a real way of trading. In my opinion, everything we do reinforces our habits. So if you're trading an evaluation account on your prop firm to get funded or whatever, just trade it the way you're actually going to trade. So trade the ES, trade the 2000 tick chart, trade with the real rules that you're going to use, and just accept the process of it being a slow and steady move to actually passing it, because now you're reinforcing the habits that you're going to have when you actually go. Yeah, I mean, Shidoku, yeah. So I don't think a lot of them actually ban that when you're just going for your evaluation accounts. A lot of the prop firms allow you to just be completely reckless on the trial accounts, and then once you pass, they ban those rules. But people do that all the time. Yeah, and sometimes people lose both accounts. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And you see that. But my point that I'm making is that you need to. No, Jarvis, you don't. What people are doing is they have 2 accounts on the same firm and they're just going in both directions. People do reckless stuff, or even what KP is saying. KP is trading NQ to pass evaluations and then trade ES to pass to trade the actual funded account. I just don't think that that's wise. I think the smarter move is just trade what you're going to trade the way that you're going to trade it when you're trading it like real money. Don't do different things because it's a demo or eval account. I just think that you're creating a bad habit and you're actually triggering something in your brain. That's the whole thing that I try to talk about. That's why I've been releasing these YouTube videos about trading psychology and habits and stuff, because everything that you do reinforces habits, right? Even Thanksgiving. Let's use Thanksgiving as an example. I eat a very specific way. It's called the animal-based diet. So I eat a lot of meat, a lot of meat and fruit, right? Mostly meat and animal fat, and then fruit. So it's a lot of steak, beef, lamb, only certain types of cheeses that are very aged dairy, or raw dairy, for example. And then a lot of fruit, a little bit of maple syrup and honey if I'm going to sweeten something or whatever. A lot of eggs. But even for Thanksgiving, I stayed on my diet. I made a turkey and I ate a few potato dishes. I'll do a little bit of potato and sweet potato here and there, a little bit of rice here and there. But for the most part, that's it. I stay on my diet, and I stayed on it even during Thanksgiving. For a dessert, we made our own animal-based pumpkin pie, which was basically just pumpkin and eggs with a little bit of syrup. Super simple. The whole thing is, yeah, exactly, Shidoku. Exactly. I pretty much do the same idea, the Saladino kind of style, animal-based. And here's the thing, even on Thanksgiving, I didn't break the rules. And the reason I do that is not because I would have suffered, right? If I broke the rules on Thanksgiving only, I would have been fine, right? But it would have signaled to my brain that it's okay to break the rules. And that would have made it more likely that I would break the rules a different day. Like these habits that we create are highly important. And we reinforce stuff happening in our brain and we send signals this way. So if we go in and start doing stupid things on a demo account trading, we're then going to have more leeway in our discipline when we go to trade with our cash account. So I just want to just be real specific on this. It's very important. All right. Shidoku, your problem with the tick chart. Yeah, TradingView does not have good tick charts. They also just don't have good tick charts. They only have the 1,000 tick. They don't have the 2,000 tick, which is what you need for the ES with the way I trade. So it's not very good. I don't really like, by the way, I think trading on TradingView is a bad idea. That's just my opinion and experience. They don't have very good setups. They don't have like advanced bracket orders with automatic stop loss movement and multiple take profits and all that. You have to do it in some backwards way, and it just doesn't work that well. Yeah, and one thing I'll say, Thumper, about that is that I don't trade NQ, but it's the NQ value size of their contract is enormous. So you're probably right that MNQ is probably safer than NQ, but I trade the ES. So with the ES, it's pretty safe to just trade ES. I don't think that MES is necessary unless you have a really small account. That's my opinion. Yeah, Shidoku, you're probably right, to be honest. I still have carbs, though, just not any, like, crazy carbs, you know? Yeah, I just don't like... Yeah, I don't think TradingView is very good for trading itself. Like, it doesn't have that many good features. Like, you can do an order that has a stop loss and a take profit, but if you want to exit at multiple levels and all that, you have to do all this weird stuff, like place new orders and do all this extra stuff. Whereas on NinjaTrader, I can just do it automatically. Like, I can enter a trade on NinjaTrader. Like, I'm not actually going to take a trade here. But, like, let's say I was going to go long. Here, I'll put a buy stop on here. Let's say I was going to go long up here. When it touches my order, it's going to automatically place my stop loss, both of my take profits, and then I can move the stop loss on the chart to where it's supposed to go, where it would be below the signal bar. But my take profits, limit order take profits, are automatically placed as soon as I enter the trade. And then when it hits one of them, it's going to automatically move my stop loss to break even for me. Like, that stuff is automated based on my scalping system. So I love that. And like, NinjaTrader does that. You can do that with, I think you can do it with Quant Tower. You can definitely do it with Sierra Chart and multicharts.net. There's multiple platforms that have that capability. I've used it on NinjaTrader and multicharts.net personally, and it's worked great. You can't do that on TradingView. TradingView was always built as a charting platform. It was never really built as a trading platform. It just has good marketing. Yeah, Thumper, I get that. Yeah, I get that. I'm a scalper too, so that's the thing. Like, and those firms, like, they have all kinds of rules that make it annoying. And KP, listen, like, if you're feeling that way, look, I've talked about this a million times, but I'm going to show you again. Hold on. Read this book, The Mental Game of Trading. If you haven't read it already, read it. Even if you've read it already, read it again. Go in there, and let me find it in the book. You need to go to Mapping Your Pattern, Chapter 2. Map Your Pattern. Page 27, I think it is. Mapping your pattern, right? So there's a thing in here called creating the map. This is tracking your emotions and then mapping them. So you start to actually write down your triggers, thoughts, emotions, behaviors, actions. changes your decision making. You create a map based on you. You got to do this. Like, don't just read the book. Actually do the exercise, right? Do that part. Map your pattern. Go into chapter 3 after that and find the root of the problem. Then what you're going to want to do later is go into tilt and map your tilt, which is on page 127. Let me find it in the book. Page 127. Where is it? Right here, mapping your tilt. So you can map your tilt with the same idea. Now, it's similar. It's a similar thing to mapping your pattern, right? But paying attention to it and actually documenting what's happening with you, that's important. Then you're going to have to create rules. Now, I think you can just literally use the rules that I've already created that are in the course, that you have access to all of it. I think you can start with those, but you will have to modify things to fit your map, your personal map, because things might be different for you. What you might be doing might be different than what I was doing, right? I've never really had a problem with moving my stop loss. That's not an issue that I do. For example, I don't move my stop loss. I don't add to losing positions. Those haven't really been my issue as a trader. Some people, that's their issue. They move their stop loss or they add to losers, right? That's not what I do. Let's see. Well, no, I don't really like a higher low here because look, I don't really like a higher low because if you draw your short-term down channel, this is the close outside. And so we don't have a new low. Now we're going to get a new low here. So we just got a new low. And so there's a first entry, second entry long that failed. We just got to close outside, new low. I don't like this though. I don't like that there. It's not really like that great of a setup. Now what we might get is a higher low now off of this level, and then it becomes a little bit more appealing, but it is a little bit dicey right here. But now a higher low there would have been too risky because you didn't have a new low made on the short-term downtrend, right? So I wouldn't have liked that. But now you have a third entry forming, which is not what we look for anyway. All right. Yeah, I mean, I used to use the pivots and all that, but honestly, I don't really pay attention to them anymore. I just look at the levels myself. Like if I have a runner and I don't have a target for it after the high and I'm just trailing it, like I'm going to look at levels like this, like yesterday's close. I'm going to look at these highs up here, that sort of thing. I'm going to look at if short term, like possible levels like right there as a possible like sticking point, that sort of stuff, But I use the trend lines to dictate where my stop loss is going when I have a runner. And I trail up behind the trend line and stuff. So that works for me. Everybody's got different ways. By the way, thanks everybody for being here. I ended up not putting on music today, but that's all right. Totally forgot. Actually, you know what? Let's do a quick poll. Let's do a poll here. Let's do a poll. Hold on. Let me see. What the heck? Wrong button. Here, let's do a poll. All right. All right, I'm gonna do a poll here. Vote in the poll, everybody. Question is, do you like it better with the hand pan music playing in the background on my lives? Yes or no? Let me know. I didn't play it today, but usually I play some live. I play my hand pan music in the background, so let's see what we get. We'll see what we get. We'll let the votes come in. I've gotten mixed feedback, but I'm just gonna ask anyway. Doesn't mean that I'm going to implement exactly, but I'm just going to ask and see. We'll see what we get. Lucid. So here's the deal, Lucid. That is the price action rules. Break and new extreme. we follow the rules of the price action. When a trend line gets a break, depending on the direction of the trend line, we expect a new extreme to be made before a possible reversal. So it's actually crucial to my strategy. But I teach all that in the course. I have some stuff on the channel already going over all that too. But I teach that all in the course. Again, if you want to learn about that, just check the chat and the description and you'll see in there the school. It's right here. There's free 7-day trial, so you can check it all out. And it's all in the actual price action course that you get access to after the trial ends. But while you're in the course, you get access to the start here, the psychology, all these coaching sessions, the calendar that has the full list. So you can join the live coaching calls that I do on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I just do YouTube on Monday and Friday, but the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are just for people in the community. You can do that even while you're on the trial. And then all this stuff where we have our threads that have all of our chat throughout the session, that's all in here. So you can follow along in real time with like the actual chart updates. Like this one was posted over 3 hours ago. And so you can kind of see, and I start posting throughout the whole session. So you get access to all that stuff in there. All right. Give me a second here. I need to look at something. My other screen. Okay. Let's see. How many votes we got on the poll? Only 9 votes so far. Okay, it looks like most people don't want the handpan music so far. So there we go. Okay, anyone on here using the I never heard of Tick Blaze. I like NinjaTrader though. I like it. And I have custom tools that I built that work with it. So I really like it. What time frame do I trade on? I trade on the 2000 tick chart. Right here. 2000 tick chart. Yeah, I trade mostly during the open. So I usually start trading anywhere from about 30 minutes to an hour before the market opens. I kind of get to the charts. A lot of times I won't always take pre-market trades, but sometimes I will. And I mostly trade the regular session. So kind of like I'm in Pacific time. So for me, it's like 6:30 a.m. is when it opens for me. And then I trade that until shortly before I go live. I trade for about 2 hours roughly. You could call it almost like 6 to 8-ish, something like that. Do I change tick chart size? No. Well, it depends on what market you're talking about. Yes, if I only trade the ES as a day trader, but if I were trading other markets like NQ, I would use a 1000 tick chart because it has actually lower transaction volume than the ES. So on NQ, I would trade 1000 tick. I think when I used to trade crude oil, I believe at the time I was using a 400 tick chart because the volume is even lower there. So it just depends on what the market is. But yeah, I would adapt it. Lucid, it does not always make a new extreme. And sometimes I will take a trade if the short-term channel is happening in a larger channel that is more impactful. So it's all based on context. High or low. I would not take this personally. No, Drain, I wouldn't, only because, and good to see you. It's already moved pretty far. So if you measure from the move, it already moved almost 4 points. It almost made a new high. And then it pulled back and gave a higher low. I don't like to take the higher low if it's already moved too far. So if it hadn't moved that far, then I would have said the higher low is a little bit nicer. But it already had moved pretty far for me to like that. So that's the way I look at it. And I'm erring on the side of caution here, especially with the holidays. You know, I'm playing this more conservative when I come in after a holiday week and that sort of thing. So bear that in mind. I still mark the yellows that I think are a little bit risky, but I wouldn't even mark that one as a possibility because it already moved too far. That's how I see it, at least. Someone else might say that that's a decent trade. You could argue that it is okay, but I wouldn't personally take that. So we're pretty mixed on our poll so far. We got 13 votes. Yes is winning right now, but it's pretty much split. I don't know, Thumper. I mean, a lot of people use NT, and plus they're a brokerage, so I don't think it's going anywhere. Ninja Trader's been around for so long. A lot of times these platforms aren't going anywhere. And it works so well, so I like it. But hey, that's just me. You know, that's me. Well, I respect to you. You know, respect to you. If you are enjoying something else, hey, nothing but respect to you. Hey, if you got questions, drop them in the chat, fam. Give me a second. I got to go check on my dog. I hear him barking. We got 14 votes. We got a 50-50 going right now. We got a 50-50. Oh, 15 votes. All right. Yeses are winning. Yeses are winning. Here, let's do this, actually. I'll put on the music I'm talking about. I'll put on the music I'm talking about real quick. And that way you can make sure that you're voting for what we're even talking about. This is what we're talking about. I just put the music on. You see what I'm saying? This is the music that I play. It's my music that I personally make. So I'm allowed to play it on here. But I just want to just make sure this is what I'm talking about. I play this type of music most of the time on my live streams. I don't play them when I'm doing the Zoom calls with my school community because those are much more like intimate coaching style calls than the live stream. Live stream is still a coaching call. It's just done in a different format. And sometimes also people go off mute and ask questions in those calls. So it would be distracting to have the music going. But when I'm just talking to a live chat, the music is kind of nice. It gives me something to listen to. And I like to listen to music like this a lot of times when I'm trading because I do find, similar to you, John, if I find it calming and like soothing. So I listen to other handpan players as well, like when I'm trading a lot of times. I don't listen to like, I mean, obviously like I make this music, so I don't always want to listen to it. But I listen to other handpan players when I'm trading. Love Trill. We actually did make a new extreme. See? Down channel, close outside, new low. We did make a new extreme. So I don't know what you mean. Where do you see a higher low? I don't... Unless... Oh, did you draw your channel wider? I guess you could have drawn your channel... I guess if you drew your channel like this, but that doesn't look right to me. This is correct to me. So that actually is a close outside new low. That actually, downtrend did make a new extreme. Is this too loud? I think I have it turned down pretty low. I have it turned way down. Let me actually listen to it for a second and see how loud it is. Sounds pretty quiet to me. Okay, cool. Yeah, what happened a couple of weeks ago was I accidentally had a setting that was wrong and it made it too loud. But, you know, that's just because I'm a live streamer and sometimes just stupid things happen with updates or like I accidentally click something. So, you know, you see that sometimes. Even at the beginning of today's stream, there was something weird with my mic and I had to adjust it. All right, well, we got 17 votes. And at this point, we're going to end the poll here. Let's see if I can end the poll. We're going to end the poll there. That's good enough for me. The yeses have it so far. Almost 60-40. So, there you go. We'll keep some chill music going. Well, there you go. I got it. There you go. Perfect. I got it quiet. I have it turned way down. I keep it low because I don't want it to like be super intense. But you know, so if you have headphones on or you have it turned up, then there you go. But hey, Caleb Vibes. Good to have you here, fam. Good to have you. Appreciate you. I don't think I recognize your name in the chat. So, you may have been here before, and if I'm mistaken and you have been here before and you've been in the chat, my apologies. We get a lot of people over time that come and go and all that. All right, so now we actually have a second entry short, new high on that channel. I don't think you want to pick that top. I think that's dangerous. So we'll see what happens here. We'll see what happens. There's a possibility of this thing cruising further. Forex futures. Okay, multi. I haven't looked into it. I've never heard of it. Here, let me do a quick search for it on my other screen. Give me a second. What's it called? Tick Blaze? I've never even heard of this. Tick Blaze. Huh. It doesn't have very good reviews, I'll tell you that much. The first thing that came up shows it only has 4.2 stars. So that's not super exciting. AMP Futures offers it. Let's see. I don't know. It just looks like TradingView. It kind of looks like TradingView. It doesn't really look... I don't know. I don't really see like... Yeah, I don't really see much about it yet. Here, wait. I'm looking on my other screen. Let me see. Let me go learn more. Let me see what their deal is. Free platform. Okay, that's cool. What's their... Who's their data... What data feed do they use? I'm just gonna look at it real quick and just see. I've never heard of it. So, give me a second to just kind of take a peek. I don't like their website. I will tell you that. They have this like background thing with all these dots and lines, and it's very awkward the way it's placed. It's kind of distracting. But that doesn't necessarily reflect their platform. I don't see what... Let me see what brokers they connect to. Hold on. It doesn't really seem like it tells you much about what data you can connect to it. So I don't know enough about what data feed connects to it and what brokerages you can connect to it. So I will say that. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, hey, we'll see what happens with it over time. I don't know enough about it. Okay, so it is CQG. If it is CQG, that's good. CQG was always decent. All right, Caleb. So this is your first time here. Cool, man. Welcome. You trade the 5-minute chart, but you like the tick charts to nail entries. Yeah, I think so too. I think it's better than the 1-minute chart most of the time. Oh, got it. So you're a pattern trader. I'm a price action trader, so I do look at certain chart patterns, but I'm not a pattern trader. I'm more of like a contextual chart reader. So I trade based on certain context within the chart, but I use certain patterns for entries when that context is being met. Hopefully that makes sense. This is a janky looking downtrend, but I'm going to draw it anyway, just in case. Just in case it happens. Yeah, Thumper, I'll take a look at it another time. I don't really... Here's the thing, though. Like, I have a belief in trading. And it is a belief that I have in trading, just like a common belief in life. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? The other aspect of this is do not get shiny object syndrome. So as a trader, one thing that that can happen is we get distracted with the new object, the new feature, the new strategy. But really, like, if we have a system that works and it works consistently well and everything, and if we don't diverge from it, it works. It's good for us to stay disciplined and not get distracted by shiny objects. Testing out a bunch of different strategies and tools and systems, a lot of times that can just distract us from the important thing of just reading the chart the way that we do. So trading is an industry where I think you have to kind of stick with what's working for you. Caleb, okay, so you trade like breakout pullbacks, it sounds like. Breakout pullbacks. I usually assume most breakouts are going to fail. So I don't trade breakouts, but I will trade a breakout pullback sometimes. Nice. That's cool, Caleb. Nice. Nice. Well, welcome. I appreciate you being here. Same with you, Thumper. Good to have a lively chat today on this Monday morning. Always good to have a bunch of people here hanging out. My next live stream on YouTube will be on Friday, but I will be doing I do the live streams and Zoom calls in my school community on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So if anybody wants to join those, just do a 7-day free trial and you can hop on those. They're usually really helpful and they all get recorded and saved over time. Because on YouTube, I don't leave all the streams that go back forever on here. I eventually remove them, but they're all, my entire history of them is all available in the school community. So all the history, you can go back. That way, if you ever like want to download historical data to do some sort of back testing or whatever, you actually can download a specific day or week or whatever, and then you can go back and watch my streams from those times to see how I looked at the chart after you're done trading it. So it gives you a way to actually go and test the stuff if you don't have time to trade the real time or if you want to get extra studying and that sort of thing. First entry short here. We might actually get a second entry short, failing back into the original range here. But this thing just keeps inching higher. So you got to be careful with this. You see this? We keep making higher lows. Like this last swing right here didn't go as low as this one. This one didn't go as low as these ones. So you can't ignore the bullish bias in the price action today. So going short is a little risky on a day like today now. Even though there were some decent shorts today, most of the trades were shorts. It's risky now. It's starting to get riskier because of just how the bias is playing out. Doesn't mean you can't go short. Just means you got to be aware of this. Like, you can't necessarily expect it to run all the way to the lows if you get a runner or something. So just be careful. If you got questions, drop them in there. Thumper. Shout out to you. Shout out to you for bringing in the dad jokes. Shout out to you. We love a good dad joke here. We used to have some dad joke regulars, as I would like to call them. We used to have some people that would join the live streams that would always bring the heat with the dad jokes. Yeah, I got you, Caleb. Yeah, like I call those breakout pullbacks. They can be some good setups sometimes. All right, here comes the possible second entry short here that could confirm the down channel. Channel might be a little tighter. It might actually be off of the close if you draw it like this, but that seems a little janky. So I'm going to leave it where it is, and we'll wait and see what it does. It's a little risky here. It is risky here. It's looking a little tight here. A little tight. But new high was made. So there are reasons to like a short. It's just a little risky because of how the overall context is today, with the bullish imbalance pushing this thing higher and eventually breaking out of the highs multiple times. You got to be aware of that context. Know your risk. And as always, after the stream today, I'll schedule the stream for Friday, so it'll be there. If you want to hit the waiting list notification thing or whatever. It'll be at around like 9:05 a.m. Pacific on Friday. That's when it'll be. But also just remember that, you know, again, I'll have the calls with the school community coming up tomorrow and the next 3 days or whatever. And that's all in there. Lucid, I'm not sure I understand the question. When I have a short trend line break, you asked, what do I do before the new extreme or after? I don't actually know what you mean. If it continues, I'll draw a wider trend line, possibly. If it reverses, I'll look to take trades with the direction that it reversed, depending on the context. I think that's best way for me to answer it. I'm not sure if I understand exactly, but I think I answered what you were asking. The second entry short there, not a good signal bar. Yeah, I mean, Caleb, I stay away from reading the tape because there's so much spoofing that happens on the tape to fake people out, and like orders just piling up and canceling immediately, and there's so much spoofing and weird stuff there. And I tried that for a while, looking at the tape, looking at like the cumulative volume delta, looking at the order flow and all that, and I found all of those methods to just be lacking a bit. And I just did better just looking at the price action within its context and keeping it more simple. That's just my take, at least. Thumper. All right. Take care, fam. Glad you had a good day. Congrats to you. And I'll see you again soon. Anybody else got any questions, things they want to cover? Because I'm probably going to wrap up here in a couple of minutes. It's getting super slow. Market's so slow. I'm in sales. Oh, I thought you were talking about watching for orders piling up. Is that not what you meant? Because they can cancel orders as they happen. I didn't know if that's what you meant. Because usually when people are talking about watching the tape, they're talking about watching the orders piling up long and short, like, which don't always get executed. Like, you'll see like a 1,000 contract order to go long at a level, and then all of a sudden it will disappear because someone will cancel it. Like, you see that a lot on there. That's what I thought you meant. But if you meant something else, let me know. Oh, time and sales. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's cool. If that works for you, hey, shout out to you. I didn't find any of that stuff to be useful to me. But if it works for you, don't listen to me. Do what works for you. Don't let me sway you. Do what works for you. There's one thing I've learned in trading. It's if you've got something that works, that makes sense to you, that helps you read the market and helps you have an edge, don't listen to anybody else. Just keep doing it. There's all different ways to trade that can work. So this downtrend doesn't appear to be in play. I think really all that we had here was a super tight channel that ran down like this from the lower high, and that's basically it. I thought it might come into play, but it didn't. So you got a failed second entry short here. It's not where you're looking for one, but it's there. And so now it's running higher. So that's what I was saying about the bullish bias. There's clearly a bullish bias in play. I mean, just zoom out and look at it, and you can easily see throughout the whole session from the low, we made higher lows on a lot of these swings. So there's a bullish imbalance. We're not even getting down to these levels down here at all. And so you got to be aware of that on a day like this. Now, do I want to draw a big wide channel? Not exactly. I mean, we could draw one just to see if it's in play. You know, you might argue that there's like maybe something like this. Sort of a wider pattern. It's not really like a super tradable trend line, but it's there as a possibility. I mean, it does look like it's holding those levels, so you can keep it on there just to be aware of it. It's not a strong trend or anything, but you know, it's there. It's worth keeping an eye on. If we start bouncing off this level and going higher, then, you know, we could probably respect that trend line. But the wide channels, you got to be careful with. All right. Any final questions or thoughts? I've been trying to keep my streams closer to just like around an hour lately. Unless there's reason to stay on longer. Maybe on a Friday here and there, just for fun. Yeah, I mean, that's what I was looking at here. That's this brown level. This is where we closed. Last week. So I always look for that area. And I think that's kind of been the target all day. I talked about it earlier with my community of just like, hey, we have a gap above us. That's kind of the target. And it's like been trying to inch up there the whole day. All right, everybody. Well, I'm going to wrap up here. I appreciate you all for being here. Thanks so much. I will see you all soon. I'm going to wrap up the stream and schedule the next one for Friday. So as soon as this stream ends, I'll schedule the one for Friday. And then if anybody wants to join on the calls tomorrow or the next day or whatever, just join the school community on a free 7-day trial. And then also you can follow along in real time with the price action and everything else. There's a ton of bonuses and everything in there. It's all laid out for you. The link is in the chat and in the description. And I appreciate you all for being here. Thanks, everybody. I hope you all had an amazing week. And happy December 1st. All right, everybody. I will see you all soon.